agree that life must exist someplace beyond the galactic horizon. We cannot be alone. There is no doubt that there is life of some sort somewhere. The only remaining concerns are what kind of life is it, and when, if ever, will we come across it? Conspirators' tongues are wagging in response to the most recent discovery of sophisticated structures in Antarctica. Many interpreted this as proof that Antarctica, the most hostile and icy region on Earth, may have once been warm enough to support an ancient civilization, or possibly still supports prehistoric aliens. What sort of discovery is made in Antarctica, and what did scientists learn about it? Let's find out. Like the abode of the gods was to the ancient Chaldees, Antarctica is still to the rest of the world today, a precipitous and enormous land that lies far beyond the seas that encircle man's home. But even after more than a century of exploration, colonization, and documentation, Antarctica continues to be completely foreign. The majority of people will never travel there because it is far away and unlike any other place on Earth. They'll only see pictures and watch classic films like The Thing, produced in 1982, which instill a sense of danger and loneliness in the public mind. And don't forget that Antarctica is home to the planet's most densely packed deep time record. It is, as many academics have noticed, a self-contained archive that spans ages and records alterations to Earth's atmosphere that predates the last ice age. Only on the periphery of the beaches and at a few sparse inland sites does human activity on the continent account for even a modest portion of that time. From a finite human perspective, the size and implacability of Antarctica's expanse are impossible to understand. The continent itself is likely to cause a kind of insanity, even for those who are not physically present, much like the Shoggoths and the Old Ones that inhabit the ancient abandoned Antarctic of Lovecraft's imagination in At the Mountains of Madness. Of course, there are many who are currently attempting an objective and thorough understanding of it. With the evidence of unfathomable constructions discovered by scientists and archaeologists, the likelihood of advanced civilization existing in our globe has always been contested. These are buildings like pyramids and enormous temples that are so large they could only have been built by giants. Due to their structure and the fact that such a building was created without the use of power tools that assist modern construction workers in their work, monuments like these have always been fascinating to observe. Our modern world had to include not one but two of these pyramids as one of the world's 7 wonders in order for you to understand how magnificent these structures are thousands of years after they were constructed. There are more pyramids worldwide, even though Egypt and Mexico are home to the majority of known pyramids. Included in this is the most recent one found in Antarctica. Although it may seem surprising that a cold continent like Antarctica has a pyramid, despite what has recently been found, there is still a great deal of information about Earth's entire past that we don't fully understand. The existence of an advanced civilization in Antarctica has been established by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Below the Antarctic ice, there are signs of human habitation that were captured by remote sensing photographs during NASA's Operation Icebridge expedition. The 2009 discovery of pollen, which suggested the existence of trees at one point, fueled the ancient alien theory. When they say early stage, they're referring to roughly 12 million years ago. Scientists have known for a long time that Antarctica, with all its lush forests, mountains and lakes, would have been discovered if you traveled back in time far enough, say 100 million years. Maybe even a fjord here and there. Furthermore, the pyramid that was visible in NASA's discovery photographs from Google Earth indicated that humans formerly lived in the region and may have even built a man-made structure there. Alien or human? You might have to decide for yourself. We would absolutely understand if, like ours, your mind starts to wander. Some people are even speculating about whether an old civilization built the rocky pyramidal building, while others are pointing up into space and suggesting that aliens may have been involved. Occam's razor, which holds that the most straightforward explanation is typically correct, however, points to a much more common explanation. Those steep pyramid-like sides are most likely the result of countless millions of years of erosion. This is just a mountain that looks like a pyramid. Eric Reno, a professor of Earth System Science at the University of California, Irvine, said, "Pyramid shapes are not impossible. Many peaks partially look like pyramids, but they only have 1 to 2 faces like that, rarely 4. The Ellsworth Mountains in Antarctica were found by the American aviator Lincoln Ellsworth during a flight on November 23, 1935. The pyramidal mountain, which lacks a formal name, is one of the many peaks that make up the Ellsworth Mountains. According to Google Earth, the mountain is just 4,150 feet tall, or about 1/5 the height of Denali, the tallest mountain in North America by cosmic standards. Although the mountain is not as tall as Denali, its distinctive pyramidal shape makes it stand out. That pyramidal shape was most likely caused by freeze-thaw erosion, according to certain scientists. This occurs when water or snow fills mountain fissures during the day. Snow freezes and expands into ice when night falls and the temperature drops. Then the cracks widen due to the increasing ice. Many instances of this freeze-thaw erosion result in the development of wider cracks that may finally result in the complete rock portion breaking off. According to him, the same pressures also probably produced other pyramidal mountains, such as Matterhorn in the Alps. The rate of erosion on 3 of the mountain's 4 sides appears to be similar. In other words, the nameless mountain is likely all in one rock layer. Yet it's also conceivable that the aliens who may or may not have assisted the Nazis in building their underground bunkers in Antarctica's freezing tundra also constructed pyramids, maybe an effort to divert attention. Who really knows at the end of the day? If you ask us, the description of how glaciated landscapes frequently produce pyramid-shaped structures and how the peaks grow more symmetrical as erosion progresses over time is very dull. We would be forced to fundamentally rewrite the history of our existence on this magnificent planet if this most recent find turned out to be man-made, let alone alien-created. Will we ever learn the real story behind the mysterious pyramids in Antarctica? What else might be buried far beneath Antarctica's ice cap? What about additional facts and evidence of structures erected by an ancient sophisticated culture, even if the pyramid in Antarctica is actually a mountain? Let's look at the intricate geometric construction found in a Neolithic temple to help you understand. Tens of thousands of years passed before Göbekli Tepe was found in a remote area of contemporary Turkey. But who constructed it and why? In the 1960s, archaeologists discovered traces of an ancient monument in a little-known farmland area in southeast Turkey. The find was so old that many of the archaeologists found it hard to believe. It rocked the archaeological community to its very core, since it was constructed at a time when humans were not believed to have had the knowledge or capacity to do so. No tiny fraction of what we know about the ancient world has altered since it was originally uncovered in the 1960s. The complex temples at the location, which some claim to be one of the world's oldest, if not oldest temple, was probably built by a hunter-gatherer tribe some 12,000 years ago. Before the discovery of this building, it was thought that temple construction was only practiced by agrarian farming tribes. The area was used for agriculture by the natives both before and after its discovery. These farmers frequently found huge stones which they would carelessly pile or discard. They weren't aware that they were unintentionally destroying valuable antiques. Who knows how much knowledge absolutely innocent people have lost over the course of thousands of years. Since it was determined that the location was old, significant effort has been put into meticulously excavating, documenting, and studying the location. It is currently subject of thorough and ongoing archaeological research and is also a protected monument. More than 200 obelisks and 15 additional temples were discovered in 2017 via geophysical investigations, indicating that there are yet many more to be discovered. The largest temple that has been discovered so far is around 98 feet or 30 meters long and includes substantial T-shaped pillars that each weigh 40 to 60 tons. The majority of these pillars have images of untamed animals and other mysterious reliefs that have not yet been fully deciphered and engraved into them. Some experts have predicted that the site would continue to produce amazing insights into the distant past for at least the next 150 years because it is so well maintained. Göbekli Tepe, like many other intriguing and historic archaeological sites, has so far raised more questions than they have been able to answer. The earliest civilization is Göbekli Tepe, or is it? Why was it left behind? Several factors could lead someone to leave a location like Göbekli Tepe. War and displacement are at the top of the list, followed by environmental stress, drought, starvation, illness, and the site itself just loses its importance over time. If the latter, it can mean that enough people's opinions or lifestyles have changed to render the site out of date. Why the site appears to have been buried thousands of years ago is another crucial point that we may never be able to answer with certainty. This is due to the location's extreme improbability of natural burial by the accumulation of sediment, etc. Since hilltops are typically places where the soil is removed rather than added, they don't typically gather sediment. The monuments atop Göbekli Tepe were therefore probably intentionally buried. As there are no remaining written records from the era, experts can only really guess. Yet it could have been buried to protect it for future generations. Of course, if a different religion or a group of people took its place, the location would have been stigmatized or perceived as a place of sacrilege, leading to its memory holing. Another purpose for the burial would have been to lessen the sacredness of the location if it was a religious sanctuary. When they are no longer required, objects or structures that are believed to possess supernatural or divine power must often be destroyed or altered in some way. Although Göbekli Tepe is undoubtedly a unique location, was it also well known in ancient times? According to some researchers, it might possibly have served as the model for the biblical Garden of Eden tale. In case you're not aware, Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden, a fabled paradise that God created for his first two human beings. The location is commonly referred to as the Garden of God because biblical authors regularly describe it as a lush and abundant area in the ancient tradition. Leaving aside doubts about the garden's existence, theologians dispute about the location of Eden. The location that is now known as Göbekli Tepe was obviously significant to those who erected it, but as we've seen, there is still a lot of controversy over its specific function. Even though there is still much to learn about the location and the people who built it, there is no doubt that it will continue to change our understanding of this little-known time in human history. Do you believe that there were ever highly developed civilizations on Earth, or are these structures simply the result of normal human building activity? Thanks for watching another episode of Voyager. While you're still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more mind-blowing videos about